After an absolutely chaotic match week 1 at the African Cup of Nations, it is time to talk about this tournament again. I've enjoyed it so much. Currently, as of filming it, the second round game has been played, and Equatorial Guinea have just destroyed Guinea-Bissau 4-2 in the Battle of the Guineas, just as we're about to prepare for a massive clash of West Africa between Ivory Coast and Nigeria. I cannot wait for it. But today, we're going to go through some of the games that have happened and look at the lessons that we have learned and what do we think of this tournament now, because, oh my God, all I can say is chaos. Absolute chaos. So let's go back to the start of the tournament. Opening game, the Ivorians in cruise control against Guinea-Bissau. Domination didn't really let the Guinea-Bissauians, or however you call them, do much really. And then a great strike from Seko Fofana early on. And then Crasso finished it off 2-0, cruise control at home. Nice. And that group then got even crazier on the second day as Nigeria against Equatorial Guinea, and I predicted it that Equatorial Guinea could shock some people and finish above Nigeria. They drew 1-1. Now they just beat Guinea-Bissau 4-2, and they're looking at that second place position, I cannot lie to you. And that was a pretty good game from them, okay? Yes, they got absolutely dominated by the Nigerians, who should have scored about 5. But they didn't. Equatorial Guinea took their chance. 1 shot on target, 1 goal. Efficiency. Again, great management, I would say, from the manager, right? Juan Nicha. I think the goalkeeper, he had a great game as well. Owono is his name. As the backup keeper at Deportivo Alaves. And with a team with not many star names against a team with loads of star names, they managed to pull it off. So, round of applause for Equatorial Guinea, and they are now looking, I think that with this win over Guinea-Bissau, they have now secured a place in the knockouts, and they're looking at a quarterfinals finish potentially to shock a big favourite in the first round potentially. Then, Group B had 2 shocks. Egypt, 1-0 up inside 3 minutes. Mohamed Salah gets the assist, 1-0 up, and you're thinking, against Mozambique, Mozambique haven't got a chance. And let's be honest, no one before the game thought they had a chance. Then Egypt go 1-0 up, you're like, yes, game over, it's done. Mozambique, within the space of 5 minutes in the second half, managed to score 2, flip the game on its head, and it was only for a 95th minute penalty equaliser by Mohamed Salah to draw the game for the Egyptians, who did not impress me too much in that game against Mozambique. Yes, after Mozambique went 1-0 up, they did start piling on the pressure, and Mozambique just parked the bus, and then they got what was coming for them. But Egypt tonight is a massive one against the Ghanaians, who had a stinker in match day 1. I did not wish to see this. I do love this national team, and I hope that they can do something. They are, as I've said, my team to support at this African Cup of Nations, and I really wanted them to do well. However, against Cape Verde, uncomfortable conversations. Cape Verde go 1-0 up 17 minutes in, is done, but no Mohamed Kudus playing for the Nigerians. So basically, as I said in the last video, they play hero ball to Mohamed Kudus. Now they couldn't even do that. They look completely lost. A set-piece equaliser from Alexander Djiku, and then 91st minute, winner from the Cape Verde, and they now sit top of the group on 3 points. They've got a game against Mozambique coming up, which they'll be the favourites for, and if they win it, they're looking at topping this group potentially, which is a big shock. I nearly had them above Ghana in the groups, but I felt like because I was supporting Ghana, I had to back the boys, and today is a big day for them, and for Egypt. Today is a massive one, because I think if one of these teams loses, they could potentially be getting grouped here, because anything can happen at this tournament. And then, in Group C, Senegal, cruise control against Gambia, 1-0 up early on. Then Gambia get a sending off as well. And then, in the second half, Gambia really couldn't do much, to be honest. Yes, they had a few chances where they could potentially do something, but 3-0, and the Senegalese will be looking at that and will just be moving on, because now they've got the 2 big games of the group against Cameroon and Guinea. They'll be looking at both as games that they want to get 3 points in, and they want to be retaining this trophy again. Cameroon Guinea. Now that game, who said Cameroon was not going to be good? Don't want to hype myself up, but I'm getting a little bit of these predictions right. Okay, I am having some whiffs as well. We'll get onto a few later on. But Guinea go 1-0 up 10 minutes in, and they look like they're absolutely dominating Cameroon. It's only until a very, very harsh red card from Francois Kamano, which I don't think should be a sending off. He gets sent off. Game gets turned around, and Cameroon, after the sending off, going into the second half, they were looking at 3 points. They wanted 3. Okay, they were the favourites going into the game, and now against 10 men, they needed to, and they scored very early on. So you were thinking, yeah, they're gonna cruise control here. And fair play to Guinea, they did not let Cameroon do anything after the goal, and did very well to get the point. And now in their next game against Gambia, they'll be looking at that as 3 points, and then going into the final game against Senegal, who might already be through by the time that happens, might play their B team. Guinea could get something there as well. Then the next group, Group D. Now this one was eventful as well, because Algeria, they were on a redemption arc. I said they were on a redemption arc, ready to do something at this Afcon and potentially go and win it all. And I thought I was onto something. 18 minutes in, a great goal from Bouna Jar, I think his name is, who then scored an offside goal, a beautiful bicycle kick offside goal later on in that first half as well. And I'm like, yeah, they're going to dominate Angola here. Somehow, it got to the point where in the second half, Angola get a penalty, it's 1-1, they equalise, not to mention the fact that they had so many more chances in that game, right? They had a higher XG than the Algerians as well, and looked like they were the better team for very large portions of that game. So you were thinking, hang on a minute, what's going on here, right? Algeria weren't great in that first game, and now going into the second game, which is a big one, it's the top of the table clash, you'd think anyway, against Burkina Faso. We're going to see what they're really made of, as Burkina Faso, they also scraped through against Mauritania, who no one gave a chance either, and Mauritania kept it 0-0 until, again, a 95th minute penalty, and Hamari Traore, he plays for Mali, Bertrand Traore buries the penalty, breaks Mauritanian hearts, and they just got through at the last second, Burkina Faso, and Mauritania had chances. They did. They nearly could have done it, but a penalty again to ruin it for them. And now they're in a sticky situation. Yes, their next game is Angola, and that's going to be a tough one because both teams have had impressive showings in this group. So who knows? If a win there for either team, and you'd think they're potentially also looking to get out the groups. Then the next group, and we had, I don't think this is I don't know what's more of a shock. The Nigerians drawing, which, I mean, to be honest, I don't think, for casuals, that's a shock. Egypt drawing, Ghana losing, Cameroon drawing, Algeria drawing, or Tunisia losing. Tunisia against Namibia. Namibia ranked 115th in the world. No one gave them a chance. And Tunisia ranked 28th in the world. They don't have superstars, but they play good football. Well, not good football, ugly football, but they play effective football, right? They have tactics in place. They have a capable manager, right? So you were thinking that Tunisia were capable of doing this. You think Namibia, first game, should be easy. Tunisia looking at quarterfinals minimum. Well, you're wrong. Well, you're simply wrong. Tunisia really could not do much. Really did not create enough. And Namibia actually had more chances in that game. More shots on target, more shots, higher XG and everything. And then in the 88th minute, it finally clicked. A delightful cross into the box. And basically a flying header from Deon Hoto. Nobody ran up to him to defend him. And it was just perfectly placed. And in the 88th minute, another late winner at this tournament. And Namibia, as absolute outsiders, with their next game being against South Africa, which is a game where they're looking to win, which would be absolutely incredible to see this happen. And I think that it could happen, and I think it will happen now. They're on such a high. They're such underdogs. Against Tunisia, they performed so much above their weight, and now South Africa, who weren't amazing against Mali, I think Namibia are looking at that as a potential game to secure their place in the knockout stages, which would be unbelievable for them. Moving on to South Africa, they lost 2-0 to Mali. And it started off really well. 18 minutes in, they have a penalty. Percy Tau steps up and absolutely skies it. And South Africa, I think they knew after that it could be a long day. As second half, a free kick goes in. Goalkeeper really doesn't do much. Then it falls to Hamari Traore on the rebound. He gets the goal. And then just 6 minutes later, Lassine Sinayoko belts in another one. It was a great move from Mali. I was really impressed with the way they played, right? Their style of football, this counter-pressing, right? They were active. They wanted to do something almost Jurgen Klopp-esque. And I think they can challenge Tunisia for top. I think they'll get top of the group now, to be honest. And they're also another dark horse at this tournament. Quarterfinals, again, is their aim. 100% their aim. And I think they'll do it, to be honest. And then the final group. Morocco faced off against Tanzania. The absolute number one favourites in most people's eyes. The people that thought were going to absolutely destroy this Afcon was Morocco. They go 1-0 up, Romain Saiss, and they do well, to be honest. They dominated the game. Tanzania did not have a shot on target. Then they got a man sent off, and then after that, even more cruise control. They scored 2 more, and Morocco looked absolutely deadly. And their next game, obviously, is against DR Congo, who we're going to get onto now, who played Zambia 1-1 in what I thought was actually a very entertaining game, and DR Congo were 100% the better team and really deserved to win that game. Zambia had 1 shot on target and they put it in, and it was extremely lucky. If you have not seen the goal, go look at it. Ball gets played out, I think, to Pat Sandaka, runs through, goalkeeper clatters into him, not a foul, goes out for a throw-in, goalkeeper still running back, he throws it quickly, he volleys it, defender has a howler, just misses the ball goes in. And then, very quickly though, swift reply from Yohan Wissa, just 4 minutes later, finished 1-1, but DR Congo really should have done better. They were very wasteful in front of goal, and it could come back to bite them, because their next game is Morocco, and if they lose that, then they're just on 1 point going into the final game, and then there's pressure. So, who knows? Zambia, I'd say they lucked out, but now the game against Tanzania, they're looking at that as a must 3 points, because they're also trying to finish second in this group. And Morocco, they're trying to get first, they're trying to win this competition. That's their aim. But we have learnt a lot of lessons about very different teams, and there's a lot of teams that are under pressure to perform in the second round of games. Tunisia, Ghana, Nigeria, Egypt, all these teams, Cameroon. All these teams are under pressure to perform, and I feel like we've got some great matches coming up. Ivory Coast, Nigeria, tonight. Egypt, Ghana, well, as I'm recording it. Egypt, Ghana, also tonight for me. Senegal, Cameroon, tomorrow for me. We've got Algeria, Burkina Faso. We've got Tunisia, Mali. We've got Morocco, DR Congo. That's basically first versus second, based on like who you thought would be there at the start. Like all these. And then round 3... Round 3 is always the best. You've got 2 games going on at once, and you know the ramifications. You know what's going to happen if something happens. It's going to be incredible. I cannot wait for it. Asian Cup has also been insane. More predictable, I would say, and there have been more goals as well. But let's see what's going to happen here. I'm sticking to my prediction of Equatorial Guinea to finish above Nigeria. I love Nigeria, by the way. I love Nigeria.